Woman turns an ordinary garage into a dream home. It takes a lot of time, money, and elbow grease to maintain an attractive and comfortable house, and it's pretty difficult to find a decent, affordable living space in today's market. With such high costs, many people realize that they simply have to settle for something less. But as blogger and designer Whitney Lee Morris discovered, it doesn't have to be that way. All she had to do was move into her garage. For Whitney Lee Morris, a designer, blogger, and small space living consultant, living in the picturesque Venice Canal district of Venice Beach in Los Angeles, California, was a dream. Whitney and her husband, Adam, had made a happy, comfortable home with their young son, West, and their two Beagle mix rescues, Stanley and Sophie. Clearly, they were enjoying the good life. By all appearances, Whitney and the rest of her family were living the kind of luxurious lifestyle that many folks would associate with wealthy Los Angeles residents. Except they had a tiny secret. You see, this happy family didn't reside in any kind of sprawling mansion like you might find in other parts of the area. In fact, they didn't even live in an ordinary house. Rather, Whitney's family called a regular old garage their home. Well, it wasn't regular exactly. What they did to the interior was something that would almost seem too good to be true if there wasn't photographic evidence to back it up. Whitney's home was built in the 1920s as part of a much larger building, but she and her family only needed something small for their living situation. While it was only 362 square feet, it was more than enough, all thanks to Whitney's sharp eye for design. Despite the fact that it seemed like a crazy idea, Whitney knew that she had a brilliant, cost-effective plan at her fingertips. And once she finally made her ambitious dream a reality, everyone took notice. As a talented designer, Whitney used her artistic and economical eye to create enough room for not just herself, but her whole family, complete with a bedroom, kitchen, and living area. This garage really was a dream home. Whitney's creation was a fully functional, fully realized, and breathtakingly beautiful home that anybody would be lucky to call their own. However, what's really impressive is how she pulled it off. The house's wide entrance and doors were replaced with spacious panels and a glass door that let in natural light, giving the whole space a warm, welcoming, and almost heavenly atmosphere. The doors were still big enough to create an optical illusion of space. Whitney also situated a charming and perfectly functional desk near the door to utilize as her professional workspace. It wasn't big by any means, but as all shrewd designers know, big isn't always better. The compact workspace got the job done, kind of like the entire home. The mirror hanging over the desk also helped to make the room seem significantly bigger than it actually was. No matter how large your home is, this is a helpful trick that's worth trying. There was more, too. A simple tablecloth draped over the coffee table helped to transform an ordinary living room into a pleasant and cozy dining room. Can't you imagine sitting here for a nice gourmet meal or even just a casual lunch? The rear wall, which would ordinarily be used to hang garden tools and other outdoor supplies, where it's still a garage, now boasted beautiful stainless steel appliances, wooden cabinetry, and artwork. Whitney even added a beautiful L-shaped couch to section off the space from the entertaining area without making it seem too closed off. It looked like it would be able to comfortably fit a few guests. Speaking of, where did this family sleep? Whitney simply partitioned off the bedroom for more privacy, which gave the illusion of there being another whole room in the house. Obviously, it was gorgeously designed. Stanley and Sophie took great care to watch over their teeny infant sibling, who was enjoying a snooze in their brand new digs. There was even a lovely little backyard. Whitney and Adam converted the small outdoor space into a modestly sized patio area, as well as added to the comfortable decor with fairy lights and trailing ivy. A tiny home like the one that Whitney and her family renovated proved that larger, more conventional living spaces were overrated, quite often unnecessary, and very likely overpriced. But won't Whitney and her family crave more space eventually? As far as Whitney is concerned, she doesn't think you need a lot of space or stuff in order to be happy. Whitney's motto was that most people don't need to live large to live beautifully, and her lifestyle was a testament to that. For some folks, though, living small isn't a state of mind so much as a necessity. As the cost of living increases, viable options for common folk decrease, especially when raising a family. When Zach and Katie Ruiz were looking to move out of their pricey apartment to raise a family, they were super inspired by Whitney's bold and affordable lifestyle. But when they finally decided to deep dive into tent life, they weren't prepared for the unpredictable consequences. During the blissful honeymoon phase of their marriage, Zach and Katie Ruiz resided in a quaint California apartment. While waking up to the warmth of the Golden State every day sounds like a dream, cutesy Cali living came at a price. With no real plan in mind, Zach and a pregnant Katie went back to Katie's hometown in New Mexico as they needed to save some dough. After living there for about a year, Katie's mother relayed some surprising, not to mention convenient news. Lo and behold, Katie had unknowingly inherited an acre of land. As you could only imagine, the couple with a second baby on the way was practically jumping for joy. Money was tight, and this seemed to be the answer to their prayers. Zach and Katie were eager to move onto their newly obtained property as they wanted to break the exhausting cycle of simply working to pay their rent and living paycheck to paycheck. They knew where they were going to live, but not what they'd live in. After pursuing the internet for housing options, hoping to cheaply build their dream home on Katie's acre, they found the available options would strip their wallets dry. They birthed a unique idea, however. The Ruiz family decided to live in a tent. Yes, a tent. After getting situated in a lousy camper for a few months while on the property, they transitioned to tent living. But don't cringe just yet. They took glamping to a whole new level. Within an 8-week period, Zach, who makes handcrafted lighting and decor, and Katie, who sells various essential oil products, built a 300-square-foot tent, complete with a cozy, raised loft. Though it's compact, the homey tent featured only what the family of 4 needed. "That's $1,500 a month we don't have to spend," Zach said regarding their brilliant escape from the dreaded monthly rent bill. Raising a family comes with its sacrifices, and while you'd think giving up a house would be a huge sacrifice, it wasn't for the Ruiz family. At first. There were no sleeping bags to be found in this tent. Their sleeping area, kitchen, and dining area were all visible from the aesthetically pleasing glass front, which obviously made for a cramped lifestyle. The Ruiz family made it work, though. The whole hipster Brooklyn coffee shop vibe, which included rustic artwork, pastoral wood, and various houseplants, made the lack of elbow room more than bearable for the fam. Although it was homey, tent life did come with its downfalls. The loft, which was dripping in fairy lights, was accessible via a ladder for the kiddies. Though it was technically the kids' bedroom, they often slept in their parents' bed due to temperature issues. The tent didn't exactly get central heating. It was especially a problem in the winter, as the family not only slept in the same bed to bask in communal body heat, but they also frequently wore coats and sweats inside the tent. That sounds like it would get old pretty quickly. Most people probably couldn't deal. "I always joke people like nature until nature kicks in," Zach said of the uncomfortable temperatures the Ruiz family endured. Still, nature had more in store for the family than cold temperatures. Unfortunately, there was no running water anywhere in the tent, which may be the final deal breaker for some, so that made certain aqua-related chores a bit of a hassle. The family had an industrial-style outdoor shower, though. Washing dishes isn't the easiest thing, but it's still really doable. It may just take a few minutes longer here and there, Zach said, and it was all give and take, though some people would definitely see this rustic life as more take than give. In the grand Ruiz tent, you'd also find a 4-foot by 8-foot closet and a 4-foot by 3-foot bathroom with a composting toilet. They were only concerned with the tent serving the most fundamental of needs. There was no fluff in this woodsy paradise. Since minimalism was important to Zach and Katie, they found little ways to create space without cluttering the teeny-weeny tent. Their king-sized bed sat on an elevated platform, which provided room underneath that was just perfect for storage. They also kept their energy usage to a minimum, which was why their solar panels worked wonders. Said panels fueled LED lights, a television, a DVD player, phone chargers, a small fridge, and an electric stovetop. Our daily power needs are pretty small, Zach said. Zach relayed that he gained a ton of free time since the start of the family's downsized tent lifestyle. Time to do whatever I want, time to hang out with the boys, time to have hobbies and actually do them, he said. The Ruiz family's tent was even featured in Brent Hevenier's book, Tiny House, which details the ins and outs of tiny living. Though their 2-year-old tiny tent was famous, they weren't planning to be there forever. The family was in love with tiny living, which Brent Hevenier believed aids in your pursuit of freedom. But Zach explained that a 600-square-foot cabin would be perfect for the squad, and that they were planning to move out of the sacred tent in a few years. We evolved our mindset of working with less, Zach explained. Living a simplistic life in a 300-square-foot tent birthed a minimalistic renaissance for the Ruiz family. A life without unnecessary clutter not only saved the Ruiz clan wads of cash, but it created a sense of enlightenment and fulfillment within the family.